What's good? Welcome to K9 Kung Fu. I'm Lolo. I still don't have a working ring light because I broke it. And I want to do a follow-up video on my Hasan Piker, did he stim his dog? Did he use a shock collar on his dog video? Because I got some interesting commentary in the threads. And so for some of y'all, like, I'm not being fed any information from anyone else. I am responding as someone who is actually pretty familiar with Hasan Piker. Unfortunately, you can't be interested in Turkish culture or know anything about Turkish culture or be around Turkish people in the West without your YouTube algorithm being like, hey, neurodivergent brown person with interest in learning Turkish, have you heard about this Hasan Piker person? And I actually am really upset that this happened because I was hoping to do a long-form video to really break down that, like, a lot of the criticism he gets is racism from people that don't even understand that they're racist against Turkish people. Another thing I need to talk about is that people were laughing at the dog fascist thing. I coined that term. It's an actual thing. And we need to really, like, own up to the fact. Like, I would even look at Moist Critical. He is on the spectrum of dog fascism. So what is dog fascism? Dog fascism is thinking that, and this is something, like, I hate to call it white people, but it is a white person problem, right? And this is married to the destruction of Jim Crow laws and anti-slavery laws in the West, where basically dog ownership amongst white people skyrocketed once they could no longer own black people and African slaves or members of the African diaspora and other people as well, but no other group was actually bred and utilized. And I have read these texts. I don't really want to go into them here. I need to do this in a long form because this is a video that, like, people of African descent would need aftercare for. They were purposely trying to create a second race of dogs with my people. So this isn't something that I say lightly, that there are many people in this discussion that go, my type of white person, dogs, the white people that I think aren't white, and everyone else. And those people are the ones that you can't even, like, if you're not white, even if you are white, they'll, like, restore you for doing anything they think is inappropriate with a dog, but you can't even, like, sneeze at a dog. And if you're a non-white person, and they will literally think that you're a dog abuser, and they are very dangerous to non-white dog owners because they will always see what you're doing as inherently wrong with the dog, because on an unconscious level or a conscious level, they don't believe that people that aren't of their kind should have these animals. And you see this in things where, like, there will be a homeless person on the street who literally takes everything that they do to take care of that dog, and they'll be like, that dog shouldn't be living in poverty. The human person should not be living in poverty. And we have a huge issue with, like, so many things right now with the overpopulation of dogs because we make them a product of capital and project on them, right? And I even mentioned that dog, Kaya, lives a pretty good life. The issue is the overusage of the place board. And initially, I even went on to say that you can even create that vocalization without using an e-collar. I had a situation with a dog, Rottweiler, important because they're sensitive, female Rottweiler, whose owner was being a horrible person to my friend, and they were my friend's brother. And this person came into the house suddenly at 6 o'clock in the morning, started trying to tear down doors. Actual thing that happened, trying to tear down doors. And my friend is hung over, and I'm trying to wake him up. And the guy brings his dog in, and the dog, who loves me, licks my arm, right? And I look at her, and I'm like, I don't hit her, I don't talk to her. I think of her as an extension of my friend's brother, and I'm so just trying to keep the peace in one of many effed up situations I've been in, because Nova Scotia is such a shit show. I cut my eyes from her. So I can't even do the expression. My brain won't let me do the expression, but it was ice. I was just like, I don't even want to associate with you. She vocalized, urinated, and submissive sit, and pulled her paw up. Now, there's going to be trainers that are going to be like, you must have done something to that dog. I'm like, you don't know anything about dogs. Because here's the thing. I don't know if that's happened since in over 20 years of work, but it happened to me. And here's the thing. Because after it happened, I totally changed how I approach dogs. So I was like, me basically reacting to her as she is the brother, being like, okay, whatever. That was enough to make a dog yelp and vocalize and urinate herself. A full-grown adult dog. So that tells me that in a situation like that where your dog might want to leave the place board, you're already creating so much pressure. Now, why do I believe it's an e-collar? When you showed it, I'm like, that's an e-collar. Technology's e-collar. Before anyone said anything, I'm having this moment where I'm like, I am being, that feeling when you know you're being lied to. Because you can see that this is not a vibration collar. And I don't think e-collar technologies makes a vibration collar. And even then, it's a sketchy company for dog trainers to even use it anymore, because the CEO is apparently like hates Jewish people, and a whole other thing is anti-Semitic and hates black people. So, which is a crazy thing, that the most used tool probably in all of balanced dog training, which tends to lean more popular in non-white groups of dog training when we look at like kind of the demographics, is kind of messed up. It's really messed up. But anyway, I digress. Why I believe it is because I know the collar that I'm looking at. I also see the stim going through her body. When I watch the clips, I see stim going through her body. Not electricity, not crazy sparks, but when you stim a dog and it's too much, you will see vibration. When you see that kind of like twitching on the neck, even if the dog is fighting it, because this is what can happen, is if your dog tries to fight a correction, it might hold on and then try to hold on, and then you win, and then the dog's like, oh my god, that was horrific. That was horrible. Right? It could have been on a low level, it could have been on vibrate, but here's what to me is the smoking gun. The body language, the reaching. So what a common thing happens with e-collar training, and why I don't like teaching it to people, is the remote becomes the actual thing that the dog associates with the stimulation. So here's the thing too. Your dog, so there's a huge misconception in the comments that I didn't address right away. I just needed to get rid of all the stuff at the beginning. And so I didn't say it in the intro. I should have said it in the intro, is your dog will still love you even if you horrifically mistreat the dog. I'm not saying that Kaya is horrifically mistreated. I'm saying that if the baseline for a dog to still love you is pretty much, even if you set the dog on fire, it might still love you, which is horrific to think about, then there's all of this stuff, and then there is right here, where we are, right? Right here. And you guys are saying, if he treated the dog like this, she wouldn't love him. But there's dogs that will love people that have done horrific levels of abuse to them. And the other thing is, we're in a closed loop with that play sport situation, right? Because I see people talking about that, is if she doesn't want to lay on hardwood floor, well, one, she's in LA, so hardwood flooring is probably one of the most comfortable places to lay, because it's probably very cooling. But two, the play sport is not very good for your dog's joints anyway. Three, if you're worried about your dog's large livestock guardian dog's joints, 2 hours of pet dog exercise, and why I say pet dog is it's very much like you come along with my pace as the human, plus and dog parks, and another hour walk a day. So 3 hours of exercise a day, every day, is overworking your dog, in my opinion. Now, she might do okay with it, but that would be my first concern for joints. He's in LA, which is one of the best places to have a dog if you have money. And that's kind of my main point, is like, if you have more money than a Nazi, if you have more money than a demigod, and you have more money than a Nazi has stories, and you are using poverty dog daycare backyard solutions to your dog's issues, like if you live in poverty and this is your situation, yeah, that might be your best solution, but there is so much shit that he could do instead. Like, if you're worried about your dog's joints, you could start her on hydrotherapy right now. You could have her go even between the period. Again, and the Kaya couch thing, he could have, like, that dog could have a couch, like a little play sport. That probably causes more pressure over time, especially if you're using compulsion either way with the play sport. It can get really muddy where the dog's like, okay, where do I move from here? Especially, and I'm willing to bet my non-existent testicle that the only real conditioning she's had with the e-collar is go to place and come to me. And people are going, how do you know it's e-collar conditioning? Even when I watched the heel video, because I've gone in on this. When I watched the heel video, that is a heel that you would get on a low drive dog with an e-collar. It would look different if positive only reinforcement was used. And it would look different if I did it, because you would do it in drive. But in out of drive like that, you're going to get the e-collar conditioning. Again, the taped collar, when you could pretty much afford any e-collar, super suspicious. And again, even without even trying, I'm on 10 minutes. It's crazy how much I can just talk about dogs forever. And so I really need to debunk this for you guys. So what I'm going to show you is my dog, who has been, I have messed up, and I'll go into it when I show you the collar. I have messed up on that collar, partly because it's not a very good collar, but partly just because, like, you're going to make mistakes with this, and we need to own this as people. And you can fix mistakes, but I want you to look at that dog and his reaction to me, and you're going to say to me that that dog has never had a bad experience on the e-collar, when he's definitely had more than 3, right? And then I want you to tell me, does that dog look like he's afraid of the e-collar? Does that dog look like he's afraid of me? Does that dog look like he's afraid of anything in that moment, right? We need to really have these discussions, because this is how we're getting lied to, and how dogs are being slapped on both sides of the face, because you're telling the people that, oh, well, the dog will show signs if it's being mistreated. Maybe, but not in every context, and not when we have the ability to film, right? So watch this next clip and tell me what you really think if my dog is actually, like, afraid of the e-collar. So this is the dog truck collar that I was talking about. And look who you're in the camera? Look how happy he is. He jumped up on the bed. Hi. Are you afraid of this collar? Ooh, so afraid of a collar that I have definitely made mistakes on. Right? Doesn't show any discomfort. Looks like he's waiting for me to put it on. Look, I took this shit off. Look at him. Exactly. Comes right back. So, by your guys' logic, he has never been overstimmed. He's never received a correction that was shitty on my part. He has never received any negative reinforcement or punishment from me. He's only ever had unicorn farts delivered directly from a unicorn's ass directly into his brain. That's why he loves me, right? Or the e-collar won't hurt. Right? This is the e-collar. This is the dog. You can't see his tail, which isn't always an indication of happiness, but you can see a dog that is ready to work and wants to go and do things, right? My apartment is super messy because I live like a scavenger, but does this look like an abused dog to you? Right? Can you get off, please? Thank you. Not an abused dog. Now, I don't even use this collar anymore, but if this is a collar my dog has received correction on, why is he happier than a pig in shit to wear it? Because of multiple associations. One of the biggest associations is if I put this collar on, especially the way I use it, because I don't use my e-collars inside. If I put the e-collar on my dog, he goes, "We're doing fun shit." Yeah, sure, I get stimmed on the neck maybe, but I get to run around, I get to do parkour, I get to do all the fun things I enjoy doing. And when I do have to use correction, and this is why I love e-collars, is that they allow you a cleaner form of communication, especially if that's the only, like, as soon as we take away corrective tools from people, you don't get less correction. You get people that are going to kick their dogs. You get people that are going to hit their dogs. You get people that are going to yell more because they don't know how to communicate, and they're getting more and more and more frustrated. There's a case here locally that I might go into. It's incredibly sad, about a blind service dog handler that is being labeled a dog abuser because from what I have seen, the organization gave him an unsafe dog. Very scary. I could not imagine that someone who lives on a service dog for a high quality of life. I could not imagine being a blind person, a completely blind person as this man is. I think it's like either completely or like he has very, very small vision. I don't know. I don't think he can see at all, actually. I've fully had this conversation with him. That's why I'm hesitant to share it, but I know enough that like he doesn't know what I look like. And I've talked to him over many years, and it's a very horrific case that positive only people are to blame for because they're putting out unsafe guide dogs. But that's another conversation. As you can see, I can go on forever about dogs. But you see a dog that, like, I will say I have made mistakes on that e-collar because the only way we're going to move forward is being like, yeah, these things could happen. Now that mistake would have not happened on an e-collar with 1 to 100. What gets difficult with that e-collar is that his working level was a 5 most of the time, but it could drop down to a 2 if it's quiet enough. And even a 2, if he forgets that he has the e-collar on, which he tends to do, can be too high if it's like, so an example of this happening would have been, I went to the gym at 5, and it was busy all the time. 5 was the working level for communication. Then I was there until like 8 or 9, and I wanted to do like a very simple, like not a corrective level at all, just like a hey, I don't want to use my voice. I just want you to know that I'm trying to communicate with you. And it was like, even I think it was even lower. I think it was like a 2 or a 3. I had even lowered it because I would notice that it was like as it got quieter. Now I only had this collar for a couple weeks at this time. It got quieter. He was more sensitive, and the 2 was enough for him to be like, whoa, what the fuck? And I remember being like, dude, what the fuck? And then I'm thinking about it. It's like, yeah, as me as the handler, I don't get to decide what is too much for the dog, even though to me that doesn't make sense. But yeah, to a dog where everything is sensory way more than I could even imagine as an autistic person with hyperlexia. Like immediately I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I built a different system. So in a circumstance with that where all of the things are on the remote, which I lost, or a whole other story. I don't use it anyway because it was starting. Another issue with that collar is it starts to fade very quickly, and so then you have to use higher levels because it's losing its stim qualities. Here, I'll show you another thing. Hey, Gohan, can you come here for a second? This way. Up. Good. So one of the reasons why I train this behavior is I have POTS, so bending over to do stuff can be annoying, so I usually get him to go on things, and he likes tactile. Right? What do you think, Gohan? Do you hate me? Do you hate me because I used an e-collar? I hate you because you keep bringing the e-collar out and we haven't gone for a walk yet. Oh, look at those licks. Those are appeasement licks. Hugs are actually his favorite thing in the world. So y'all get a little hug break in between. Or technically this is from behind, so it's a hold. For me, I'm holding him. Yeah, so I forgot. Yeah, I was going to show you the... Oh, are you good with? The actual prongs here are plastic, which I don't think are as good. And I don't think you can, on this model, remove them, but you can remove the base. Oh, I'm so mean because I took the collar off. That means that if I use it once on you, you're going to hate me. Back up on the bed again. So, I hope that this has debunked your guys' idea that if you use an e-collar on your dog, it will hate you and never want to be friendly with you and not want to be around the collar. Because this is one of the main arguments that is being used to say that he did not stim the dog, because if you stim your dog, it's not going to love you. What do you think, Gohan? You hate this collar? He's literally licking the collar. He's licking, can you see that? He's licking the collar. Because he likes to lick his gear. Alright. I hope that's helped. I'm going to follow up. I'm getting an actual e-collars technology collar here. Hopefully today I'm going to follow up with a video explaining, showing you me using it on me and my dog, who obviously knows what this is, but might not know what the other one is. But yeah, please stop believing that dogs are as auspicious, I don't know if that's the right word for that, as humans. A human being will hate you if you don't invite them to a party. A human being will hate you because you misspoke. A human being will hate you because of your cultural background. A human being might just hate you because they woke up on the wrong side of the goddamn bed. A dog is not that. A dog is way more, has way more fidelity than that. A dog is way more loyal than that. And it's in that loyalty, it is not a failing against dogs, but it is something that we are sort of backhanding them on both sides. We're saying, well, if that dog was being mistreated, I'm not saying that Kaya is being mistreated. I'm saying that you guys would think that an e-collar stim and stimming for a placeboard command would be mistreatment, because of us as humans, we may go, that is mistreatment. I'm not saying that is mistreating. I'm saying that this is nothing compared to the things that people put dogs through in these dark corners, in sometimes right in front of people, and they still show up with love in their heart, and they still show up to do the best that they can, even when they're put through horrific things. And you would still see them go to the same person that treated them horrifically and love them, right? I think this is actually best put up in the joke, right? This misogynistic joke at its core, where you lock your wife into your trunk for 2 hours, or you lock your dog in your trunk for 2-3 hours, and you open them up, and who's happy to see you when you open them up, right? Anyway, hopefully that clears some things up for y'all. Have a good week, And yeah, I understand that everything comes off really crazy, really randomly, but please remember, you called your weird friend the punches trees in the woods. Peace. You do this to me all the time.